Hi, everyone. Welcome to our career event. My name is Candy Tang. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks everyone for joining us today.
Can you go to the next slide?
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm gonna move this.
It's my great pleasure to welcome you here today. We are very delighted to have you with us to optimize your LinkedIn profile with Tiffany's guidance. I invited Tiffany to lead our club in the area of career development. She accepted happily because she enjoys helping people. She is the regional HR manager for the largest automobile group in Canada. She has recruited, hired, and coached thousands of candidates and employees for about 20 years. Tiffany knows what hiring managers are looking for in their ideal candidate. Today, she will present how to optimize your LinkedIn profile in 30 minutes. You will have 5 minutes interaction with her for questions and answers. We are sure you are discoverable by recruiters through building a strong personal branding on LinkedIn. I want to say once more, welcome. It's wonderful to see so many of you here. Thank you. Let's welcome Tiffany.
Great. Thank you so much, Candy. And thank you guys again for joining us today. There's going to be a lot of information. Candy already went through my experience, but I just wanted to quickly touch on who the VCDC is, or the Vancouver Career Development Club. So Candy actually started the VCDC back in July of 2020 with the goal of helping newcomers to Canada achieve their professional dreams by connecting them with local business leaders who will share their knowledge, opportunities, and growth. And the idea is to give people as much information as possible with regards to careers, with regards to pretty much anything, right? To help them kind of get a good start in Canada. But, you know, the VCDC doesn't just accept newcomers to Canada. We accept anybody that's interested in learning more about their careers, anybody that's interested in just networking with other people. So Candy's done such a great job in building this group. And if you're not a part of it, please join us on LinkedIn. Just do a search, and we're also on all the social media platforms. So that's a little bit about the VCDC. But we're here today to talk about how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. And we're just doing a time check just because we have 30 minutes. There's going to be a lot of information, and I don't want you guys to worry. There's, you know, I'm going to be talking a lot. But don't worry, because this is being recorded, and I am going to be sending out the slides and the recording of the webinar later as well. If you have any questions as I'm going through this, feel free to use the chat function just to ask your questions. And at the end, if we have some time, we'll go through some of the questions. If there's a lot of questions, we'll make note of the questions, and then I'll email some of the answers afterwards. So without further ado, I'm going to stop my video. It's just so that it's just the presentation. So Femi, are you able to stop my video? Oh, I got it. Stop my video. Okay, here we go. So how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So I put some of these stats on to the Meetup information as well as on LinkedIn, but you know, it's important to kind of go through this, and it's staggering just to think about what's going on. So there's over 766 million users on LinkedIn right now and counting. Almost half of those are active LinkedIn users. But what's important to note is that, and you'll see different stats of this, but on average, over 90% of recruiters use LinkedIn regularly. So, you know, recruiters, whether they're on their networking or they're actually searching for candidates, we use them, and I can attest to that. I use it quite regularly when I was recruiting. But what's you know, the huge disconnect is that only 30% of those looking for a job are active on LinkedIn right now. So that's concerning, because, and I know for myself, when I look at a profile, if there's not much there, I move on to the next candidate and to the next candidate until I find a candidate where, you know, I could see, you know, their experience. And if it fits the job that I'm looking for, then I reach out to them and have a conversation with them. Eventually, call them in for an interview, and I have hired people through LinkedIn. So as you can see from this stat, over 122 million candidates have received an interview through LinkedIn, and 35.5 million candidates were hired. So I know all of you are here today, obviously, because you know the importance of LinkedIn, but I just wanted to drive that point home. And so how do you optimize your LinkedIn profile? The worst thing that you could do is have a blank page, or have a page that doesn't have that much information. And then a recruiter, you don't even know this happens, but a recruiter could go to your profile and then just move on to the next. You don't want that to happen, obviously. Even if you're not looking for a job, you want to be able to optimize your profile, because there's opportunities out there that you may not have even thought of that could interest you. So these are kind of the sections that we're going to go over. Again, it's a lot of information, but we can definitely get through this. So the first thing that you can do right now while we're talking, grab your cell phones, because I'm going to show you how to change your LinkedIn URL on your mobile phone. And I'm also going to go through the desktop version. So if you don't catch this, because I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, again, you can do this afterwards. But one of the reasons why you want to change your LinkedIn URL is because it makes it look cleaner and it's easier to remember. So just so that you know, your default URL through LinkedIn is typically your name. So your first name dash, last name dash, and then a bunch of numbers. And it's so hard to remember that, right? So you want to make sure that you kind of clean it up. So this is my iPhone, and I'll kind of play this video and I'll kind of talk along. So this is my LinkedIn homepage on my mobile. You want to go to your profile. So you click profile, and then at the top right, you'll see a gearbox and then a question mark. So you want to click that, and then it'll take you to the search bar and type in URL. Click search, and then you'll see customize your URL. Click on that, and then click on the pencil to customize it. So I chose Tiffany Benjamin HR. Typically, you want to stick to something that's professional. Usually it's your name. For myself, Tiffany Benjamin was already taken, so I added in the HR. It's still easy to remember. It's still professional. And so that's something that you want to kind of stick to, right? So I would urge you to go on there, click on that, and try to save your name. If your name's already taken, then think of something that's still professional, still in line with what you want to do with your career, and then save that. So once you click save, don't forget to update your resume, your website, and your business cards as well, because you want to make sure that it's top of mind. So if a recruiter were to look at your resume, we want to make sure that we're able to find you on LinkedIn as well. And then to do that on your desktop, so this is a desktop application. Again, you'd go to your profile, and then you'd go to edit public profile and URL. Click through that, and it'll take you right there to customize your URL. Click on the pencil, and then customize it as you see fit. And then save. It's pretty simple to do. So if you haven't done that already, and I think I checked some of our participants' profiles, some people have, and some people haven't. So just make sure that you do that, because it's such an easy thing for you to do. The second easy thing that you want to do, but it's one of the most important things that you want to do, is change your profile photo. So this is an example of my profile photo as well as my background photo. So what does that mean? So first of all, your profile photo should be a headshot of just yourself. And you'd be surprised, there's so many photos that I've seen on LinkedIn of people with their families, people with their dogs or pets or whatever, people on the beach. And you want to make sure that it's just a photo of yourself. And I saw a stat, I can't remember the source, but I pulled it and I didn't get it, unfortunately. But if you have a headshot of yourself, you're 14 times more likely to get views than any other type of photo. So you want to make sure that you have a headshot. You pick a photo that looks like you right now. So I've seen some of my former colleagues have photos of themselves from 20 years ago. And so you want to make sure that, when the recruiter reaches out to you, that's we can recognize you right away. And you want to use a high-res image. It needs to be clear, and you want to be the only person in the photo, and smile, right? So let me just check everybody. Sorry. You want to make sure that you smile in the photo, right? And what else? Wear what you would normally wear to work. You want to be business casual. you don't want to be wearing, for example, you don't want a beach shot of yourself wearing a bikini, or even if, you know, you club wear, unless you're a professional lifeguard, or if you work in the club industry, obviously then go ahead. But most people use LinkedIn for professional reasons. So you want to make sure that you wear something that you normally wear. Take the photo in soft, natural light and use filters wisely, because again, the photo still needs to look like yourself. One tip that I would also add to this is don't take a selfie. Make sure you use like a tripod, or get someone else to take the photo for you so that it looks professional. So that's just tips on getting your profile photo ready. And one thing that I also suggest is the background photo. When you go to a lot of people's profiles, they don't utilize this feature, but as a recruiter, it stands out. So when I go to a candidate's profile and then they have a background photo, it definitely stands out to me. And so this photo should really set the context and shows a little bit more about yourself. So for myself, I'm a career coach. So I, put my photo there, I put my business name. And how I did this, a tip that I would suggest is use Canva, canva.com, C-A-N-V-A, right here, .com. It's free to use. And you can just search LinkedIn banner. There's a lot of templates on there that you can use, and you can just put your own photo, put whatever text or font you want to add. And it's the right dimensions for LinkedIn, and then you could just upload it onto there. It's pretty easy to use. So that's what I would suggest. And again, if what I would suggest to my clients or anyone in the VCDC is if you volunteer, have a photo of yourself volunteering or at work, or like an action shot of you speaking or something that shows a little bit more about you. So that's just my tip for the background photo. The headline is the second most important field on LinkedIn. And why is that so? Because first of all, when people see your profile anywhere on the platform, they see your picture first, and then they see your headline. And typically the headline is your position as well as your current company. So for example, for myself, it would be regional HR manager at Dilawri Group of Companies. And that's the default headline. But it's so important to use this headline for so much more. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when recruiters do searches for, a particular position on LinkedIn, the more you optimize this space, the more discoverable you are. So if someone, for example, if your title, and this is the best example that I can give, HR, they have different titles like people and culture, right? But and that it's HR, but when a recruiter goes to search for an HR person, they won't be searching for people and culture manager or people and culture coordinator. They'd be looking for an HR coordinator. So I would use this space to put people and culture coordinator as your role, but then you would also add HR coordinator or HR expert or something to that. You don't just want to use the default. You want to use keywords to describe not just your title, but also your knowledge and skills, what you can bring to the table. And when you're writing your headlines, you want to think about who you want looking at your profile, and you want to appeal to them directly. You want to express your value to whoever is looking at your profile, and you don't want to use emojis or symbols or anything like that, because it's such wasted space. Like it's so this space is so valuable. You want to utilize it as much as possible. And the other tip is don't use all uppercase, because it's like any communication. If you use all uppercase in an email, it's like you're shouting at the person, and then you're coming across psychologically as not approachable, right? So just use regular fonts. And so I'll give you 4 examples here. This is mine right here. It's the regional HR manager position. So that obviously that's what you see, but I use these bars that you can find on your keyboard. So regional HR manager, bar, career coach, bar, personal branding, resumes, LinkedIn optimization. So I use the bar to kind of space between the different keywords that I want people to search for me if they're searching for someone like me. So that's one example. You don't necessarily have to just put a bunch of keywords on there. You can also use this as a space to kind of express it through a sentence. So my friend down here, Mehdi Rahman, he uses a sentence, and his is helping human resources functions mature through listening practices, digitization, and automation. So he just put it in a nice, succinct sentence. And I know him, he's in the learning and development space. So I know that anyone looking for a learning and development person would be, looking for these keywords. Sarah and Jorge over here, they use a combination of both. So Sarah uses a sentence as to what she does, and then she also puts keywords like speaker, webinar success coach, and she puts a fun fact, chess and cheese enthusiast, right? It's funny, it shows her personality. And then Jorge kind of does the same, but he puts keywords first, and then his sentence, helping companies be more profitable and productive using data and analytics. So when you're thinking about your headline, you want to think about, again, who you're appealing to, and you want to try to put as many keywords on there as possible. So that's your headline. The next is the about section. So this is very important. And again, every single section you can use to optimize by putting as many keywords as possible, right? But the about section should be written in the first person. It should be personable. And this is an example of a summary on LinkedIn right now that, according to Harvard career experts, is an example of a very strong summary. So I'm just going to quickly read this. It says, I'm a research scientist working to better understand how neural activity motivates and shapes human behavior. My expertise includes project design and management, data analysis and interpretation, and the development and implementation of research tools. I enjoy generating new ideas and devising feasible solutions to broadly relevant problems. My colleagues would describe me as driven, resourceful individual who maintains a positive, proactive attitude when faced with adversity. Currently, I'm seeking opportunities that will allow me to develop and promote technologies that benefit human health. Specific fields of interest include data analytics, biotechnology, and pharmaceuticals. So why is this an example of a strong summary? There's a few reasons. Number one, it's not that long. It can be skimmed in 30 seconds or less. And usually when people read, they're skimming, right? So I pick up keywords, research scientists, human behavior, design and management, data analysis. So when I'm reading it, that's what I see. And then again, because you want to, and that's why you want to incorporate as many industry related keywords as possible, because that's what people are drawn to, right? And also, the summary is very professional. There's no spelling or grammatical errors, which is very important. And then it also answers questions that provides deeper insight into who the candidate is, right? So you see what they are, kind of their strengths, how their colleagues review them, and then what their interests are. So if I was a recruiter looking for someone in this field, I could see it all there, and I can get a little sense of her personality as well. So that's why that's considered a very strong profile. The next section is your positions, and this is where you would essentially list every single role you've ever had. It's different from a resume because you don't have to just put relevant jobs. You can put every single position that you've ever had literally in your entire life, right? And I would urge you to not just copy and paste your resume. Your LinkedIn profile is not your resume. It's an extension of your resume. It kind of goes together and it supports it. So that's why you can include all of your experience. And also what's different about the LinkedIn profile is that it should be written in the first person and with a conversational tone. So, with resumes, it's third person. You never say I, we, or any of those. You never use those words. But in LinkedIn, you can use first person, and you should use LinkedIn. Like, this is what I did. I did this, right? And in a conversational tone. And include, again, you're going to see this over and over and over again with all of the sections. Include your keywords specific to your industry and your career goals. It should be a summary. So you don't want to copy and paste your resume, because it really shouldn't be in bullet form. It should be in paragraph form, like, just a summary of your career in that area. And like I said, it should complement and support your resume. Okay. And the next section is the education section. So you want to always list every post-secondary training that you've received. And again, it reads like your experience section, where you write a paragraph. You write a paragraph of the summary of the program that you took, what you learned there, and if it's applicable, how you use what you learned in everyday life. And you want to, you'll see this again, incorporate keywords. So it's important to put keywords into the education as well. And so, why is it important to keep putting all these keywords? Again, because when a recruiter does a search on LinkedIn for a particular position, or someone, if they're looking for an HR manager or whatever, then the more times it can see HR in your profile, or the algorithm in LinkedIn, the more times that it scans and it sees that, then you'll actually appear higher in searches. So that's why it's important to keep incorporating those keywords, not just once or twice. And again, always add your personality to it. It doesn't have to sound robotic. And there's other sections. If you notice, there's skills that you can add. You can actually put that, what are your skills? If you're in HR, is it recruiting? Is it training and development, onboarding, or whatever sector that you're in, customer service? There's different skills that are listed on there. You want to make sure that you list as much as possible. And then accomplishments, so publications, patents, courses, projects, honors and awards, test scores, languages, and organizations. So there's so much here that you can add, and try to add as much as possible. That's my advice. You don't want to just skim through it and just, if you wrote a paper that appeared in some sort of publication, that's something to celebrate, and that might be of interest to your future employer, right? So you want to make sure that you include that. So again, list everything relevant to you, and wherever you can, write in the first person and in paragraph form, incorporate keywords, and be factual. Don't make it up. So I actually wrote, I did a post on this on Instagram, where people lie on their resumes, and it's shocking to see how many people actually do, or they just fudge certain things. So you just want to make sure that you're factual as well, because anybody can see your LinkedIn profile, and anyone can call you out on any of the information that you put as well. Recommendations, it's good to have. So it boosts the know, like, and trust factor with potential employers. And the way I would do it is you would ask your network, people that you work closely with, and you personalize that message to that person that you're asking. And then once they agree, if there's certain things that you want them to highlight, you mention it to them. Like if you're interested in getting into some sort of customer service role, you say, hey, so-and-so, I'm interested in getting into this role. Do you mind, writing your recommendation, speaking about my customer service skills, right? So that there's nothing wrong with that on the once they've actually agreed to writing that recommendation for you. People generally are excited to do that, and excited to help you in any way. So if you want them to write it a certain way, or put keywords or highlight certain skills of yours, then please do so. And if you want to limit it to 25 recommendations or less, and you typically want to hide testimonials that aren't relevant to what your career goals are, especially if you have more than 25. And so I wanted to show you an example of an amazing LinkedIn profile. There's two examples here. Both of them, this is a disclaimer, both of them are LinkedIn experts. So you have Petra Fisher right here. This is her profile photo and her background photo. You'll see her headline. It's pretty funny. It's "Cranky Old Fuddy-Duddy claims to know shitloads about LinkedIn." She's a LinkedIn expert. So this is her sales page. So she's obviously trying to grab certain clientele. And so that's why her about page is longer than the 30-second rule as well. This is her sales page. But you can see it's written personally. It's written in the first person. She puts a lot of information on there. And in terms of her experience as well, like everything that we talked about, she's done, and she does it really well. And, she's highlighted every single job that she's ever worked at. Again, you could put every job, and I think she goes all the way down to the 90s with her profile. And then her training, her education. And then you'll see she has a lot of training. She does volunteer work, education. So this is an example, again, of a really good LinkedIn profile. So if you have a chance, check out Petra's and kind of see where you can pick and choose how you can emulate her profile. And then I wanted to show you another one, very similar in that she is a LinkedIn expert as well. So you see her profile photo here. She's saying that she's hiring for her team, which is great. Sometimes you'll see looking for work. So some people are looking for work, but in her case, she's hiring. And then she has a great banner. This is an example of a fantastic banner that catches your attention and you know what she does right away, right? So she's a speaker, author, consultant, and there's a photo of her doing what she does. So that's a great example of a background photo there. Her headline is great too. It's very succinct. You can see the keywords laced throughout, and it's so easy to scan. It's so easy to read. So that's a great example of a headline right there. And then if you scroll down, her about page, again, she's a LinkedIn expert and this is what she does. So her about section will come across longer than what you should be doing unless you're a service provider and you're using LinkedIn as your sales page. And then she has her featured articles that she's written and her experience. So again, like Petra, you know, first person, writes in paragraphs, and just lists everything on there, you know, and she actually has a lot of awards that she's put on there. She has a lot of social proof as well. She has over 100 recommendations, which is okay for her as a LinkedIn profile writer. But again, for yourself, you want to kind of minimize that to 25. So again, those are two great examples. And to summarize, that you want to make sure that you write in the first person narrative. You want to write in a conversational tone. You want to incorporate as many keywords as possible and appeal to your ideal employer and client. And don't just copy and paste your resume. So this is kind of a theme that you've seen all throughout this presentation through every single section. And so we have about a couple minutes left. Candy and Femi, if you can, or Candy, can you see some of the questions, if there's any questions from the group?
Yeah, didn't get any question. Most of the questions we got were about the recording, and I've said that we'd be sending a link to that out once this is over, so people should be able to get an email with the recording, with the link to the recording.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I know that I was going pretty fast there. There's a lot of information, and you know, just so that you guys know that this is just one thing that you can do to optimize. There's other things that you can do afterwards that you should be doing in order to appeal to your ideal employer. So with that said, we're coming down. I can't believe it's the 30 minutes already, but thank you. I know that Candy wanted to also come in and say thank you as well. Again, there's going to be a recording and a copy of the webinar slides from my side, which you should be receiving soon.
Yes, thank you and welcome back. Ping shares they feel safe, valued, and respected. See you next time.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. I hope you got a lot out of this. Again, a lot of information, but if you have any questions, I see one question coming through. We'll definitely get to that, and I'll answer that on when I send out the slides as well. So thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.